Good afternoon. Today is the 8th of October and I'm recording this in quite possibly the worst lighting conditions that I can remember. There's not a lot I can do about it. I'm waiting for my lady wife to finish what she's doing in a car park in Southampton. There really aren't any other spaces here, and the lighting's just going to have to be bad for this video, I'm afraid. Not many of you watch these videos anyway, so I think I might actually get away with it. So, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the top 10 best-selling cars of September 2022. It's nice in these videos to actually have positive news for a change. It's been a very negative few months, and actually a negative few years, really. The first bits which showed a sort of problem were starting in 2019 to some extent, but really in 2020 and 2021, and to an extent 2022 because of these sort of supply issues. But compared with September 2021, and remember, September in this country is the absolute best month for registrations every single year, there is a positive change of 4.8%. Not a positive change in the private market so much, but the business and fleet sectors are very, very much up. The business sector's up by 70%, which is remarkable. So we'll look at those breakdowns first of all. We'll look at the top 10 best-selling cars of last month, and then we'll look at how the individual manufacturers are doing. So the private sector, which is actually the largest sector now as it was last year, that's actually down by 3.6%. The market share has actually decreased as well, as you'd expect from that, from 56% to 51.6%. The fleet sector is up. That has increased from 42% to 45%, and that's a 12.5% increase. The fleet sector has gone from 90,000 cars to about 102,000. The private sector has gone from 121,000 to 116,000. The business sector is not massive in this country. Last year it only went at 2% of the market and now makes up 3.3%, but that's still a change of 4,000 cars to 7,000 cars. So an overall change of 4.8% is very good. Let's now look at the fuel mix between this year and last year. Amazingly, one thing that's not really changed very much is the forbidden fuel, or diesel as some of you call it. Forbidden fuel is not something we talk about on this channel, as many of you know. The market share, though, has only actually changed by something like 0.4%. The number of cars sold is pretty static. It's gone from about 10,700 to 10,300. Percentage change is about minus 3%. So not a massive change, but still a decline. It's not really a surprise. The petrol engine, though, is also on the decline at about roughly the same rate, about 2.8%. About 44% of the market last year, now about 41%. It's gone from about 94,000 cars to 92. The mild hybrid forbidden fuel cars, they're not really going to last very long, I don't think. Percentage change is minus 25%. This is things like the sort of Audis and things that have these engines. There's not many. Kia don't have them anymore. They were sort of big sellers of these, and Hyundai, but that has actually changed significantly. So yeah, the market share of that's gone from 5.3% to 3.8%, 25% decrease, and about 11,500 cars gone to about 9,000 cars. Mild hybrid petrol, though, that's a different story entirely. Suzuki, very, very sort of enthusiastically proclaim their advertising that hybrid is standard. Now, we're not talking about the full hybrid cars, things like the Toyota Corolla and the Hyundai Ioniq, things like that. We're not talking about stuff like that. We're talking about the little sort of ISG things and 48-volt systems and things. It's a kind of thing that actually is in the Kia Sportage petrol engines now with automatic gearbox. There's we've got mild hybrid, standard hybrid, and plug-in hybrid versions of that car. And I've actually tested recently, which you might have already seen, I don't know, otherwise it'll be coming later, a full hybrid version of the Kia Sportage, the 2022 version, on the channel. So yes, it's 28% increase, 29%, it's 28.8, so 29% increase. It's gone from 27,000 cars last September to 35,000 cars last month, and that now makes up over 50% of the market. It's actually 3 times the number of forbidden fuel cars. Battery electric cars actually make up even more now. They were on 15.2%. They're on now 17%. So not quite as kind of much of an increase as some of you might be thinking, but still, you know, an increase nevertheless. And that's the way we're gradually going in the wake of announcements that were made last year that we would only have battery electric cars and basically plug-in hybrid cars are able to do a considerable amount of distance on electric power alone after 2030. Obviously you can still buy second-hand cars after that, but sales of new cars will be limited to those 2 types after 2030. I don't know if that'll change or not, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's 17%, increase is about 16.5%. Number of cars sold has gone from 33,000 to 38,000. Plug-in hybrids, despite the fact that there's no government grant for those, all battery electric cars anymore, absolutely none. The percentage has not wavered that much, it's down about 11.5%. Market share has gone from 6.4 to 5.5. The thing about those is, though, they only really work if you plug the car in an awful lot. If you don't plug the car in an awful lot and you do really long distance driving, plug-in hybrids don't really work, because you instead of just driving around in a big petrol car with loads of batteries that you aren't using, as I found out when I had one of those about a year ago on test. It's a very good car, but just not ideal for what I was doing, which is 1,100 miles in a week. So they've gone from about 14,000 to about 12,000. Hybrids, though, a big market segment as well, even bigger now, gone from about 12% to about 13%, 16.5% increase like the battery electric cars, and gone from 25,000 to 29,000. So now let's look at the thing you actually clicked on the video for, which is the top 10 best-selling cars of last month. Now, there's been one huge anomaly in comparison with what we've seen for a long time, and that is that the Ford Fiesta is back in the top 10 bestsellers. This car has not been in the top 10 bestsellers this year at all. In fact, the year-to-date chart, which is also next to the top 10 bestsellers, I don't tend to go through this too much, but the Fiesta's not on this, and yet it's coming at number 6. I don't know what's happened with that. I drove a Fiesta recently on contingency reviews, a current model one, although it was a pre-facelift, and you know, that's not a bad car, that really. It was a manual as well, which is you know, good, because Fords are renowned for those gearboxes, aren't they? But yeah, it's interesting to actually see that in the top 10. But it's funny how the Tesla Model Y is coming at number 2, and that's actually affected the whole top 10. It's gone straight into number 8, even if Tesla don't have a lot of shipments per year, they just have a lot of cars per shipment. So the number 1 is the Qashqai at about 9,300. Number 2 is the Model Y at 8,300. Actually, the total number of Model Y sold is only about 21,000 to the year. So 1 month's delivery is so far over a third of the whole year's allocation. Crazy. Volkswagen Polo is in third. It's far behind the Tesla Model Y. It's about 6,500. Then the Ford Puma, no surprise, that's a very popular car at the moment, at yeah, 5,800. Then the Kia Sportage, again, no surprise there. As I said, if you haven't seen that video already, it will be coming soon on the channel. 5,100. Fiestas at 6th place at 4,600. The Cougar's very slightly behind it at about 4,500. Kia Niro, a very popular car in this country at the moment, actually in 9th position overall, 3,900. Hyundai Tucson, which is a sister car of the Sportage, 3,800, and the Volkswagen T-Roc, again no stranger to the top 10, about 3,500. The one that's missing is the Corsa. That's the best-selling car in this country at the moment, and it's not in the top 10 for last month. Right, and let's look at how the individual manufacturers are actually doing. This is actually my favourite part of the video, and some of you like this too. So the way we do this is we have alphabetical order of brands here. We start with Abarth, which is never particularly good at the moment because they don't sell many cars in this country, and then at the end we end up with Volvo's the last one generally. So Abarth, they only sold 99 cars last month, and they've only got 0.04 of the market. They've had a huge sales crash for some reason. It's not surprising given that they don't have yet anything based on the new Fiat 500 electric. It's still this Vol 500 platform that came out in 2007, but actually debuted with the Panda in 2003. They're still selling cars based on a 19-year-old platform at Abarth, as they are at Fiat, because you can still buy a 500 hybrid. That's really a mild hybrid, but never mind. So yeah, 68% decrease. Market share is, well, it's tumbled from 0.14 to 0.04, and number of cars sold has gone up from 300 to 99. Alfa Romeo, it's good to see them doing better for once, although we're still not talking enormous figures really. So about 13% increase. But bear in mind the average increase is 4.8%, so that's actually not bad. The market share though has gone slightly up from 0.12 to 0.13. Number of cars sold has gone from 250 to about 290. Alpine, the numbers are so tiny it's not even worth me really saying anything about it. They're even smaller than Abarth. Audi, huge number of sales. Massive sales. They're actually slightly up on last year, but they're not up as much as I would have expected. Their market share has very slightly declined to sort of below 5.7%, when as last year it was actually above 5.7%. Number of cars sold though is very similar. It's about 12,300 last year, about 12,800 this year, and that's an increase of 3.5%. Bentley, almost exactly the same number of cars sold year to year. Very slight decrease this year of about 4%, but nothing significant really. BMW, we love our BMWs in this country. They haven't done as well as Audi have. They've had a decrease of 15%, and their market share slipped from 7.3% to 6%. Number of cars sold has gone from 16,000 to 13,500. It's kind of a bit like Citroen. They've had a little bit less of a decrease though. They've gone from about 2% of the market of 1.9. The actual decrease is about 0.84. It's not very much. Our number of cars has really stayed about the same, about 4,300 in both cases. Cupra, they're selling a lot more cars now, a lot more models obviously, like the Born that came out in April in this country. But 105% increase. Obviously they were a new brand a couple of years ago. It's gone from 0.62% of the market to 1.21. Number of cars sold has gone from 1,300 to 2,800. Dacia, about a 5% increase, so just above the rate of the market. Number of cars sold though is very similar. They're exactly the same market share, 1.8%. Not varied at all. Number of cars sold has increased slightly from about 3,900 to 4,100. DS, not a huge brand in this country, but very slight rise of 2.8%. Market share is about 0.25, around that, and the number of cars has increased slightly, just above 550. Fiat, not good. They could do with a few new models, to be honest. They don't really seem to have very many. They've just got sort of hybrid and mild hybrid versions of older cars like the Tipo and the old 500X and stuff like that. They could do with some new models, to be honest. the number of cars sold has gone from 3,800 to 2,000, and the market shares slipped accordingly from 1.76 to 0.88. That's a 48% decrease. Ford, very, very successful, hugely successful, probably due to that shipment of Fiestas. 92% increase at Ford, which is basically almost double the number of cars. In fact, they've gone from 10,800 to 20,700. The market share has gone from 5% to 9.2. I mean, they could have actually recovered in a couple of months to where they were before they had that problems with supply and things like that. Genesis, a new brand for the country. I drove a G70 on the channel back in April. I also did a walk around of the GV60, which was at what was it? The SMMT day at Millbrook. They're very good cars actually, but they seem to be very popular on YouTube. Like whenever I upload one, nobody seems to watch the video. I don't know why, because they're pretty fantastic, to be honest. They're very, very good. But their market share has gone up from 0.01 to 0.07. It's not a huge increase, but when you're talking about a sales increase of 27 to 149, that's a 452% increase. So it's not bad. I mean, it looks very good on the figures and everything like that. Honda, I don't know why, they've had a 30% decrease. Now that's probably because the new Civic didn't really arrive in any significant numbers in showrooms last month. They've had a bit of a problem, maybe with supply or something. It's a nice car that I saw that at a dealership actually last month. I saw the new Civic. I didn't get to have a drive in it or anything, but it does look good. Nevertheless, their market share has decreased from 2.5% to 1.66%. Number of cars sold has gone from 5,400 to 3,800. Yeah, 30% decrease. Hyundai have had a decrease, but it's not very significant, about 1%. Number of cars sold has really not changed. It's just over 12,000 in both cases, but the market share has very slightly dropped from 5.7% to 5.4%. Jaguar, like Land Rover, not a massive decrease, about 14%, but a decrease nevertheless, and their market share has gone from 0.86% to 0.71%. Number of cars sold has gone from about 1,800 to about 1,600. Jeep, again, they probably do need some new models. They do sell quite a few models in this country. You know, the Compass they sell, and the Renegade, and the Wrangler, and the Grand Cherokee, and stuff like that. But people don't seem to be buying them over here. I don't know really why. 62% decrease. Number of cars sold has gone from 900 to 300, and the market share has dropped from 0.41 to 0.12. Kia have had not the best month, for considering it's Kia, and they're sort of one of the hot new brands at the moment, really, in the sort of volume sector. Their market share has gone down by about 10%. It's gone down from 7.7% to about 6.6%. Number of cars sold not massively changed actually. It's gone down from about 17,000 to about 15,000, but nevertheless that's a significant decrease just because of how many cars they sell. Land Rover, it's not too bad. They've had some poor months recently, but it's just a relatively small decrease. Of about 11%. The market share has gone from 2.5 to 2.1. Number of cars sold has gone from 5,400 to 4,800. Lexus, a bigger decline. I don't know why. Their cars are quite expensive, but I suppose they're quite good, really. I've seen a few of those recently. 48% decrease. Market share has gone from 1.4% to 0.7, so yeah, it's almost halved. Number of cars sold has gone from 2,900 to 1,500. Maserati, they don't really sell many cars in this country. In fact, like 91 last month, so not a huge player in the market. There are ones that are even smaller than that, though. Mazda, they've up by 3%, which is quite good for them. I think it's probably due to the new CX-60. I might be able to get hold of one of those for review, actually. You might have to be patient about it, but I'm hoping at some point to be able to do that. Yeah, so their number of cars sold actually increased very slightly, come from 4,500 to 4,600, and their market share, it's not really changed very much. It's just over 2% in both cases. Mercedes-Benz, they've actually increased a little bit, which you know, I thought they were on a terminal decline, but it looks like they've increased a bit, about 14.5%, which is very good. The market share has risen to about 4.5%. Number of cars sold has gone from 8,800 to 10,000. MG votes outsold brands like Mini and Land Rover. Huge sales last month, comparatively speaking, considering they only really relaunched in 2011. Before that, it was just 3 years of a mildly different TF. But yeah, they've gone up by 61%. Their market share's climbed from 2.5% to 3.9%. Almost got 4% of the market. They're like chasing Mercedes-Benz now. Anybody who keeps saying that MGs are absolutely rubbish, nobody wants to own them, just look at these sales. That's all I have to say, really. They're not perfect, they've got their flaws, but people seem to want to buy them. Mini, again, it's quite a good month, up 28%. The market share's gone from 1.9% to 2.3. The number of cars sold has gone from 4,100 to 5,300. Nissan, I don't know if this is to do with the new Ariya or something, but they have gone from 4.6% to 6.5% in the market, 49% increase, and they've actually almost sold 15,000 cars in the last month. It was 10,000 last September, so it's a very big increase. Peugeot, they have decreased by 12%. A number of cars sold has gone from 6,800 to 6,000, and the market share has dropped from 3.16 to 2.66. Don't quite know why, actually. Polestar, on the other hand, have had an amazing month. They've increased their market share by 207%. It's probably because the people who actually you know, look after them. I think you have to buy a Polestar online as you do a Volvo now, but you can go to a dealer and take a look at it, so they're just the ones who look after it for you. Yeah, number of cars sold has gone from 256 to 786, and the market share has gone from 0.12 to 0.35, so expect to see a lot more of those on the road in the future. Porsche has had a very good month as well, 119% increase. Market share has gone from 0.35 to 0.73, and number of cars sold has gone from 752 to 1650. Renault, I don't know what's going on there. That Arcana I drove a year ago doesn't seem to have been very popular particularly. They've got the new Megane though, that might do something for them, I don't really know. They've gone from 2.5% to 2%, and number of cars sold has gone from 5,300 to 4,500. That's about a 16% decrease. Seat, I've had a total collapse. I don't know what's going on at Seat, to be honest. They just don't seem to be where they were at all a year ago. They sold 5,000 cars last September. They've only sold, is that better? I don't know. They've only sold, if I just put it there we go. Yeah, they've only sold 1,500 cars. It's a 71% decrease. The market share slipped from 2.3 to 0.7. Skoda, on the other hand, they don't seem to have the same problem at all. In fact, they increased their sales. We do like Skodas far more than Seats in this country for some reason. I don't really know why. They're comparably priced cars a lot of the time, and they're basically based on the same mechanicals, so I don't understand, but there we go. 7% increase, 2.8% has now gone to 2.81% or thereabouts. About 5,900 cars to about 6,300. Smart, the numbers are really a little bit small at the moment, although they've sort of relaunched things with a Smart One hashtag, is that what it's called? The new thing that's just come out, strange name. SsangYong, not the best month. I don't know why. It could be for many reasons. We'll wait till 12th of October actually, which might be after this video is made public, to see if the new prospective buyer actually follows through with the second payment to rescue SsangYong. After that, things will probably improve, but till then, it's still not very easy for them. So 31% down. The market share slipped from 0.17 to 0.11. Yeah, they only sold 257 cars last month. Subaru sold even fewer. They've had actually a worse crash than SsangYong have. They're not the same importer anymore, actually, so that's something to do with it. 63% decrease, 0.3% of the market to 0.1, and they only sold 232 cars last month. Suzuki, despite this hybrid is standard in inverted commas slogan that they've got, they haven't done very well, really. It's a 33% decrease. The number of cars sold has gone from 3,000 to 2,000, and yeah, the market share has gone from 1.43% to about 0.9% actually. Tesla, great month for them. As we know, most of the 10,000 Teslas that came into the country last month were Model Ys, apart from about 1,500 of them. And they've jumped up from 3.2% of the market to 4.4% of the market, just with that delivery of Model Ys alone. Toyota, we love our Toyotas over here. They are just brilliant. Although they're not doing as well as they did last year. It's a 10% decrease, about 8% of the market, now 6.8. Number of cars sold has gone from 17,000 to 15,000. Vauxhall, again, like Toyota, a bit of a slump for some reason. About 9% of the market has gone down to... no, I'm so sorry. Not 9% of the market at all, 9% decrease. About 5% of the market to 4.3. About 10,600 to 9,700. So maybe some of the new stuff that's coming out now, that new Astra, which I drove actually just last week, maybe that will turn things around for them, I don't know. Volkswagen, massive player in our market, as in many other markets in other parts of the world. 60% increase. 8% market's gone to 8.4% of the market. Number of cars sold has gone from 16,400 to 19,000. So very close to Ford actually. Finally, Volvo, not that great. I drove a C40 actually at the SMMT day that you would have seen the Genesis and the Toyota Aygo at so far, possibly the Supra as well, you might have seen that. But yes, 8.3% decrease, or 8.4 to say. 1.9% of the market down to 1.7%, 4,000 cars down to 3,700. Overall, yes, 4.6% increase. Number of cars sold has gone from 215,000 to 225,000, so that's wonderful. So there we are, viewers, keeping up the standard of terrible lighting and videos on this channel. I do apologise for it, I'm afraid. This is the time I have to record a video, and yeah, it's not gone very well, but I don't know why any of you are surprised if you're actually still watching this. But anyway, those of you who have watched all the way through, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and hopefully next month we won't have this terrible lighting problem.